Rogers Dab Chevrolet was just a regular car dealership here in Brandon, Mississippi, and about 10 years ago, we started branching off with our parts department, and we became one of the top 3 largest parts departments for powertrain, for engines and transmissions in the country. So in doing so, why not support the industry that supports the most powertrain, which is your performance engines and racing? And there's a need there that was not being filled. There was a customer base that was not being taken care of.
We keep the sealed crate motors in stock, the 602, the 604s, the 525s. Whether you're driving a late model or a modified or a street stock, we've got an engine for your car. We also carry the accessory kits, KRC drives. We also do Gary Williams carburetors. We've been in this for a couple years now, and we're doing it to benefit the racers.
Everyone is trying to get into racing, knows that it's not a cheap sport to get into. So price structure was a big thing in taking care of the racers, and we knew early on that we did not want to make this a profit center. We wanted to make it about the racers. Price is a big thing. However, customer service is where it's at. And we've had several instances where racetracks have called us and said, hey, we had a driver out here qualifying and their engine popped. And it's Friday night at 9 o'clock, and our team, Benny and Ryan, are calling me and saying, hey, boss, we need to take care of this race car driver. Let's get them an engine as soon as possible. And they'll be here before sunrise the next morning on Saturday morning, pulling that engine, getting it to that person so they can get it installed and be racing that night. That's the kind of customer service we want to deliver.
The following is a special presentation of Crate Racing USA, America's leader in racing. This is Crate Racing USA Live.
They're side by side. The top 2 of the points are 4th and 5th right now. Here comes Jimmy Thomas. We're back underway out of turn 4. 13 circuits to go around the Talladega short track, and we now have ourselves a battle for the lead. Out of turn number 4, Jeremy Steele wins the Turkey 100. This is America's leader in racing, the Rogers Dab Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Model Series 4Y.
And now your host, Cody Earley.
Indeed, welcome in. It is episode 14 of Crate Racing USA Live. My name is Cody Earley. Thanks for being with us. Another great show in store for you tonight as we get ready to welcome another winner to the Rogers Dabs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour to the show. This time, now a 2-time winner. It is Braden Mitchell. Braden Mitchell claimed the win at Xtreme Speedway on Saturday night, and he is now tied atop of the all-time wins list. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll talk about his family. When I say committed to the sport of dirt track racing, Braden and his entire family are totally committed to this sport that we love so much. Also on tonight's show, we'll chat with my buddy Matt Benton. He's the voice of the Paducah International Raceway as they get ready to welcome the Dirt Car Summer Nationals, better known as the Hell Tour, coming up Friday night. We'll chat with him, plus all the other fun stuff Matt's got going on, including the voice of the Southern Dirt Street Stocks and Factory Stock Series in 2026. That's all coming up on tonight's show. Thanks for being with us. Let's dive into the week that was. Last week, week 17, officially underway in the second half of the season. And man, oh man, I feel like a part-time employee for the Weather Channel, because on Friday night, June 19th, it was Mother Nature taking the win. As a matter of fact, sweeping the Friday night action. Super B Speedway had their Race On All-Star Challenge postponed. Hattiesburg postponed the 14th annual Curtis Burns Memorial. Jackson Motor Speedway set to have the big 6th annual Hot Shot Shootout Nationals. That got postponed. And Needmore was welcoming the USCS Sprint Cars. Unfortunately, that was rained out. We moved to Saturday. Frustrations, well, they still lingered because Mother Nature would not go away. The following events saw their weekends washed. Baton Rouge Raceway, Blackwater Speedway, Deep South, Greenville. They're just trying to get their season opener in the books. Of course, Jackson Motor Speedway, Super B Speedway, and Talladega Short Track was set to welcome the Southern Thunder Super Dirt Series. That unfortunately didn't happen. And Whiteout Motorsports Park was welcoming the Rogers Dabs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Model Series back. And that didn't happen either. There was racing, though, however, at Pine Ridge Speedway. It was the Father's Day at the Ridge event. 4 Crate Racing USA divisions were in hand, and it was in the Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Models, Justin McCree out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, picking up the win. Here's track announcer Ross Tingle.
McCree has led them all so far. White flag in the air. One more time around for the high roller, Justin McCree. The high roller race car. 25, the Parsons Earthworks sponsored car. And McCree wins it.
In the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman, it was Chase Pennington, the Mississippi driver, picking up his 5th win of the 2026 season. Once again, Ross Tingle.
White flag in the air for your leader, Chase Pennington. Pennington all by himself now. Out front, Parsons runs second. Battle for that 3rd spot still goes with Mark McCoy and Alan Edwards. Here comes the checkered flag, and it's going to go to Chase Pennington.
And in the Crate Racing USA Street Stocks, hey, it's true. Age is just a number. The one and only Dr. Dirt picked up his first points win of the 2026 season. It was all Johnny Stokes on Saturday night.
He's high, wide, and handsome with 1 lap to go. The Columbus, Mississippi Dirt Track Hall of Famer Johnny Stokes. Stokes rolls through 3, off of 4. Checkered flag in the air. Dr. Dirt wins it. But the old 72-year-old man gets it done here tonight, race fans.
And in the Crate Racing USA Modified Sportsman, Eli McKinney picked up his first win of the 2026 season in a really good night of racing at Pine Ridge. Western Kentucky Speedway, they were able to race on Saturday night up at Madisonville, Kentucky. In the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman, it was Dustin Rollins of Princeton, Kentucky, picking up his 4th win of the 2026 season. In the Crate Racing USA Street Stocks, it was Nick Brooks of Owensboro, Kentucky, picking up his 3rd win of the 2026 campaign. At the Xtreme Speedway in Danville, Alabama, the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour headlined the evening, but it was the Crate Racing USA Modified Sportsman that saw Jordan Phillips pick up his first points win of the 2026 season, the driver out of Logan, Alabama. While weather kind of stole the storylines for Week 17, it was Chase Pennington, Dustin Rollins, Justin McCree, and Eli McKinney, and Jordan Phillips who were the ones taking the checkered flags and finally getting some racing in on Saturday night. That's how we wrap up Week 17. We'll give you a full look at Week 18 before we wrap up the show in just a little bit, but it's time to welcome our first guest to the show, and that is my good friend Matt Benton, the voice of the Paducah International Raceway, as they get ready to welcome the Hell Tour on Friday night. We'll talk with Matt coming up. You're listening to Crate Racing USA Live.
Crate Racing USA Live will return after this commercial break.
When performance matters, champions choose Hoosier Racing Tires. As the largest race tire manufacturer in the world, Hoosier produces over 1,000 different types of race tires, engineered for speed, precision, and winning results. With cutting-edge technology like a 300-mile-per-hour test wheel, a state-of-the-art production facility, and advanced mixing plant, Hoosier continues to lead the way in racing innovation worldwide. Hoosier Racing Tires. We fuel passion, pride, and success with our tires designed for champions. Order today at HoosierTire.com or call 574-784-3152. Hoosier Racing Tires. Tires designed for champions.
Racers are dedicated to winning. And Chevrolet Performance's 3 factory-sealed Circle Track crate engines can help you get to the checkered flag first. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a touring hero, on dirt or pavement, Chevrolet Performance Circle Track crate engines are engineered to win. Right out of the box.
I'm Matt Williamson. And you know, the thing with the VP Racing Oil is we trusted the fuel for so many years that it was easy to switch to the oil, and we're glad we did. The stuff is phenomenal. It's the best oil out there, and we have all the confidence in the world in every fluid we run on the race car because it comes from VP.
VP Fuel and Lubricants is the only oil and lubricants that we use in our 3-car program, and it's the only one we trust for that.
In racing, every edge matters. Next Racing Wheels may be new to the scene, but behind the name is over 35 years of innovation from Taylor TJ Weld. Built with 100% CNC precision, Next Wheels feature a one-piece center, bolted outer half, and an O-ring seal, eliminating leaks and weak points. And with bead screw technology, you get superior tire retention without the hassle of bead locks. Stronger, lighter, built to handle the abuse while reducing deflection for better traction and balance. Plus, the bolt-together design means faster repairs and more money in your pocket. Innovation, performance, value. Check us out at nextracingwheels.com or find us on Instagram. Next Racing Wheels. The future is next.
Feel the thunder. Experience the heart-pounding action of Crate Racing USA from dirt tracks across the South. Catch every lap, every pass,
3 wide, just momentarily for the
every victory with Crate Racing USA TV.
The modified main event on this Friday night.
Watch live events or dive into on-demand replays anytime. Whether it's a single night shootout or a full weekend of racing, you're in control. Never miss a moment. Watch from anywhere. Visit CrateRacingUSA.tv now for upcoming events and full race replays. Crate Racing USA TV, America's leader in racing.
Did you know that your Crate Racing USA membership gets you 5% off every purchase with Velocita by Melissa Markowitz? Well, you do now. They have everything from custom-measured suits to gloves, Zamp helmets, and some very cool swag. Find Velocita by Melissa Markowitz on Facebook and get your order in today. And make sure you mention your Crate Racing USA membership. Welcome back to Crate Racing USA Live, where we have our very first guest on the line, one of my good friends in the business, Mr. Matt Benton. Matt, welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Cody. It's a pleasure to be here, sir.
Well, excited to have you. And, man, a big show coming up Friday night at Paducah, the summer grind, a lot of people like to call it. The Dirt Car Summer Nationals rolls in there. Man, a really big show for Paducah coming up this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, the fan base around here, they live and breathe late models. And we had a show for the World 50, of course, like everything else this year. It seems like it's been rained out. But man, even with the skies looking the way they did, it was pitch black at 5 p.m. and that parking lot was full. I mean, this place is passionate about their late model racing. So seeing the Summer Nationals come back here, it's a really big deal. There's a lot of electricity in the air, and you can definitely feel it just a couple of weeks out, just building up to it. That, you know, they're coming to town, and there's a certain level of anticipation that the people just really look forward to.
So it's a $10,000 to win for the super late models, and then you got the mods for $1,500 to win. And man, mods up that way too. They put on a heck of a show as well.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the design of the racetrack, Cody. Honestly, if anybody that's ever been to Paducah, especially nowadays, man, bigger tracks like that, they aren't as common as they used to be. And so just there's something about getting to see these high powered motors get to really open up, and you're there and you can feel it under your feet. And something about that, man, it just attracts race fans. It's a beautiful thing, honestly.
Of course, it is the Dirt Car Summer Nationals, the Hell Tour, and man, what a grind that whole deal is together for week upon week after week after week. Now, they've had their issues with Mother Nature as well, and you get to a certain point, I think, on that tour, rainouts every now and again is kind of a chance to catch your breath. But man, super late models at Paducah is a whole nother level, right? I know you talked about the size of the racetrack, and I don't think people really grasp how big Paducah is. Tell the folks how big Paducah International Raceway is.
They lie a little bit on the website. I'm here to tell you. So if you read their Facebook website or the actual website, it says it's a 3/8 mile high banked oval. That is total lie. That is a huge lie, as a matter of fact. But I would say I'd give it 3/8 if you measure around the light poles in the infield. But that's got to be somewhere closer to a half mile if I've ever seen it. It's a humongous racetrack. I mean, it's hard to really put into words. But man, if anybody that's like street stock familiar, if you're used to seeing those cars, those guys can go around that track almost wide open and not really have to check up on the gas, because that's such a wide open track. It's wide and it's so steeply banked. The banking is what throws a lot of people off, especially. You can see the bank and the turns, but the straightaway has been banked. It's hard to walk up that sucker if it's even a little bit moist. I'm here to tell you from experience. So it's a crazy track. It's bad fast. And, man, the best way I was told that if you're going to win there, you better be prepared to meet God going into turn 3 and bypass him when you're going in there, because if you let off the gas, you're going to get passed.
I like it. Of course, being from East Tennessee, banking is my kind of thing, with Volunteer and Tazewell being right here in my back door. The Dirt Car Summer Nationals roll into Paducah International Raceway coming up Friday night. Of course, it'll be the super late models, the open wheel modifieds. You guys, of course, a pair of Crate Racing USA divisions, the Street Stocks Weekly division and the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman. And then there's the other class that we have talked about on a personal level, me and you, when I seen the word scrappers. Now, this is the first thing I think about when I read that and I see that is Scrappy-Doo off of the Scooby-Doo cartoons. Tell everybody what exactly they see when the scrappers are on the racetrack.
Yeah, I remember that. You texted me. I think you said Scrapper Night in America, and that's that's what I started to refer to it as, man. No, these guys, you want to talk about the definition of the blue-collar weekend warrior type guys. I mean, they are the lifeblood, really. And I know we cut up about it sometimes, but really they and guys like that are the lifeblood of local racing. And we all love that, of course, and we want it to survive. But those are the guys that make that happen. And they just go out there. We have a smaller track on the infield, and we let them run it. We prepare it, water it, pack it, all that sort of stuff. And these guys, man, they just go on there, just beat and bang. And by God, if you've got fenders left on at the end of the night and you're leading the race, then you win. But there's nothing pretty about how they race, but by golly, they sure are entertaining. And you just love to see it.
And I will say, too, when I was watching the events earlier this year when the Southern Dirt Street Stock Series was in town, I noticed the fans stuck around, too, because they knew what was coming at the end of the night.
Oh, absolutely. You got your little old Dodge Neons in there, some Crown Vics, just whatever the cat dragged in, basically. There's some things in there that look like they've been to somebody's chop shop. I couldn't tell you what they are. But, those guys, they get out there, and you may think the way I'm describing it, they might not be competitive. I would view that they might actually, and no disrespect to any other classes, but I'm not too sure there's anybody that's more competitive because everybody in that class, their whole purpose is to find victory lane. And a lot of times that means they've got to get around this one guy we have named Kyle Clark. And man, there is it's just this whole thing right now with everybody trying to keep him behind them. And it's absolute entertainment. I'm telling you, if you're picking up on this broadcast here and you're going to watch the Summer Nationals, whether it be on Dirt Vision or come into the track at Paducah, which I would love to see you there, please, and I cannot emphasize this enough, please make sure you stay for the scrappers.
Indeed, and it is well worth the price of admission. If you ever have wondered about the terms bump and run on a dirt track, these guys right here are the true definition of what you'll see at a bump and run when the scrappers are out on the Paducah International Raceway. We're talking with Matt Benton. Well, speaking of Paducah, you guys well into the 2026 season, but just like a lot of other places, you guys have had some weather issues. What exactly is still on the old schedule for the rest of the 2026 season up there in Paducah?
Well, actually, of course, we've got the Summer Nationals this Friday. Hopefully, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, which it very well may. After this, 18th, we've got the Ultimate Pro Late Model Series coming in for $3,000 to win. We expect that to be a really nice show. To accompany them will be the Outlaw Steel Block Late Models for $750 to win. August 8th, we've got our back to school bash, just a little something that we do, helping out the kids and the parents going back to school and all sorts of stuff. We'll have the Outlaw Late Models there for that as well. The Leroy Lamb Memorial on August 21st and 22nd. We'll be running a special for the A mods, B mods, and late model sportsmen under a new kind of a annual event that we started last year, the Midwest Dirt Nationals. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have the Ultimate Super Late Model Series for 5,000 wins September 19th, also with the steel blocks. And then we have a Bluegrass 102 Enduro on September 26th, and then a $2,160 to win race for the CRUSA Street Stocks under the Brian Elder Legacy Race is be on the October 3rd weekend, and then we'll close out the season with Fan Appreciation Night on October 17th.
So I see one thing still down there at the bottom of the schedule, the Border Banger Bash. Please do tell us, what does that entail?
So that was originally scheduled to take place on March 20th and 21st under the SCDRA banner. It was supposed to be $10,000 to win for the mini stocks, but along with so many other things, got rained out. So they made up a makeup date for them later in the year. And I got to tell you, man, I can't say this to where it doesn't come offensive, but I certainly don't. There was just like with every other class, about 20 years ago, there's a certain feeling you get when you hear mini stock. But nowadays, like, the game completely changed. That's a professional racing series at this point, especially under that banner. So the mini stocks, I mean, there's a ton of talent in that class, especially the ones that travel in this series. Reed Christensen, just to mention one of them. I mean, these guys, they have so much it's dialed into a science, honestly. So all the big guys that run in that series, I am beyond excited to see them come over to Paducah and see them put on what I expect to be just an absolutely phenomenal show, quite possibly, honestly, could be the best show of the year. So I'm really excited to see them come back to the racetrack.
Indeed. Going to be a great weekend. Of course, all this we've talked about, you can find PaducahRacing.com. That's PaducahRacing.com. You can also check out their Facebook page as well, Paducah International Raceway. Well, not only does Matt do the voice for the Paducah International Raceway, but new this season, he is the voice for the Southern Dirt Street Stocks and the Southern Dirt Factory Stocks. Of course, we had the opportunity to work together earlier in the year down at Needmore Speedway for the Southern Heritage Classic. To kick off the 2026 campaign for the street stock side of things. And man, oh man, Matt, tell us how that has really continued to grow. You go back and look at Needmore, and everybody was kind of amazed at the car count, but man, that thing is still getting it done right now.
Yeah, honestly, I have no words truly to describe it. It's unlike anything I've ever really seen, especially for a new series. I mean, we're averaging about 50 cars, I would say, per event so far. And that's, to me, I still can't wrap my head around that number. That's a crazy, crazy amount of support from literally all across the Southeast. A lot of guys, I mean, we've got guys from Texas. We had one guy come from Pennsylvania to a couple of events. I mean, several guys from Kentucky, Florida, just about you look at the map, the Southeast, every state presented, South Carolina. I mean, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's just been a wild amount of support. And not just that, we've had some incredible racing too. I mean, we have... Right now, like Andrew Stone leads the points, and Andrew hasn't even won a race, but Andrew has been consistent. And to the point where he's got looks like a 7-point lead over Ethan Wilson right now. So it's just been a crazy turnout, and I'm beyond thankful just for the opportunity to be able to showcase all the talent that we have. That is, the way I see it, they're the next group up in the dirt world.
Yeah, and I've been very vocal on this show with a lot of guests. I've said it, the Crate Racing USA Street Stocks, that division has by far, on a consistency level, it brings it every single night. And that, I know you see this week in and week out too, weekly racing. It's on the weekly side too. You can get a really, really good Saturday, Friday night battle when these street stocks are on the racetrack. Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you said that, and as you were saying it immediately triggered my memory. I think toward the end of last season at Paducah, we put up like
it was just like a $2,000 race. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not turning my nose up at that, but like it wasn't anything that was like heavily advertised. It was just a regular, like, hey, we're going to have a $2,000 show for you guys. And we got like 25, something like that. Hey, honest to God, it may not even been, it may have been a 1,500 to win. I think it was 1,500 to be honest with you. And out of nowhere, and I'd just gotten some of the worst news in my adult life. And I was like, man, I really need to come to this track and see just a ton of street stocks. And I rolled in and we ended up with like 23, 24 of them for 1,500. I mean, and it was a phenomenal race. So you're right. I mean, it's everywhere. These guys, you put up just a little bit of money and they will flood the track. I mean, and put on the best show that you can possibly hope to see.
Yeah, and officially the halfway point of the Southern Dirt Street Stock Series presented by Kelly Trucking hits this weekend down at Kai Kelly's Pike County Speedway in Magnolia. $5,000 to win. You know, we've had a few street stock drivers on here talking about the money that has been up for grabs just in this first half of the season, and a really big event this weekend, the I-55 Street Stock Shootout. Of course, Matt, obviously there's not two of Matt. I would say right now he probably wishes there was two of him, but pre-requirement's going to have him at Paducah unless Mother Nature changes plans, and the series moves down to Pike County Speedway. A big weekend down there, and this is one of those kind of tracks. Short track racing this weekend for that series. You really could see this series put on a great show down there.
Oh, for sure. And this will be back-to-back events on shorter tracks for them. You know, Talladega, we all know that's a definition of a bull ring. It's a hornet's nest, I think is actually what they call it. And man, so these guys, it's going to be two events in a row. They're going to end up beating and banging each other just a little bit. And some guys excel in that style of racing and other guys still trying to find their footing on it because they prefer the bigger, faster tracks. So it offers a really wide variety of driver styles as far as like how this schedule is constructed. I'm looking forward to seeing who's, you know, able to find their way to the top, you know, 5, I'd say, over the season, and just kind of see who can stay there the most consistently. And that'll tell you who your most well-rounded driver, I guess you could say, is, especially with how, you know, we have a good combination of, like, we have Paducah. Needmore is a very uniquely shaped track, as is Windy Hollow. Duck River is a little bit bigger, and then Why Not? I mean, it's a little bit different every time you go there. So if you end up winning this series, man, you can definitely say you've earned it.
So not only the street stocks, but the factory stocks will be down at the I-55 shootout down at Kai Kelly's Pike County Speedway. You can watch all that, by the way. If you can't make it, you can watch it on CrateRacingUSA.tv. They'll have coverage with preliminary action taking place on Friday, and then, of course, the feature and B-mains, the dash, and all the main events going on Saturday night. Well, Matt, we talked about what you've got going on right now. Let's kind of talk about what got you to right now. What puts Matt Benton in the booth at Paducah and in the booth for the Southern Dirt Street Stock Series? Kind of give us your backstory. What kind of got you into announcing? What kind of got you into the racing industry?
So without droning on for hours and hours, because I really hate to feel like I'm doing that, but man, just like a lot of people, it started with my dad taking me to the racetrack when I was a little boy. I grew up at a dirt track like 10 minutes from my house. It's Western Kentucky Speedway in Nebo, Kentucky. Grew up there. Dad ended up racing for a little bit there before he passed. And then I kept going because, you know, that's where you feel closest to home. And man, I just got the feeling like you would hear the announcer, you know, call for the cars to staging, or you would hear them, you know, amp the crowd up, you know, when they're out coming onto the track. And I always associated the voice of the announcer with the track they're specifically at, because every track, of course, has their own announcer. And I always thought, man, how cool would it be to be able to do that someday? And man, I ended up working there as a little 6th grade kid, just doing like ticket booth stuff. And eventually I worked around to doing lineup, and then I got hanging around in the booth long enough, and they said, hey, you know, we're going to need an announcer, because I think I forget the detail. Anyways, they needed an announcer in the middle of the season, and they said, "Hey, would you want to try it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." And I did it. And for some reason, something came across those people that said, "You're good at this." And I said, "Well, I'll take your word for it, because I certainly don't believe it." But, I did that there until just the end of this year, really. This is my first year away from there full time. And it came on that Paducah was going to need a new announcer, because theirs decided to retire, had to step away for the benefit of his health after being there for many, many years. And, I filled in a time or two that year, and Adam Elliott, their owner, said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this full time for me next year?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." I mean, I grew up at this track in a way, some of my better memories are here, like back when they used to have NASCAR night with Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and all that stuff. So I was like, man, yeah, that'd be awesome to be the weekly guy here. So, and then of course, maybe 2 months after that, Cole Huggins calls me. He's like, "Hey, me and Shannon Hires are putting together this Southern Street Stock deal. Would you want to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So, I mean, it just sometimes when it's just supposed to happen, it does. I don't know. Some people tell me that I'm kind of good at this. I am, and I'm sure you're the same way. I certainly don't believe them. I still can't stand this down to my own voice. So, but here we are.
Yeah, and it's kind of very similar for me, and we've shared that story that my background. I came out of high school. I went into to high school sports and did that for a couple of years, and I loved auto racing, but the local track where I was at here, Volunteer, had a steady guy. So I stepped away from sports all in general and got into RC cars for about a full season, believe it or not. And I know everybody jokes about a series. Well, I went touring with RC cars in Louisiana, Ohio. We went to Kentucky, and 2 or 3 other places with RC cars. Well, there was a friend of mine, a mutual friend of mine with the track, said that Volunteer was looking for an announcer. And obviously I stepped into that role and did that for a season, and Ray Cook's tour come to town, and by the 2nd or 3rd month after they come to town, he was asking for an announcer the next season, and off to the races we go, so to speak. So it is pretty cool, and I think sharing the stories on this show, that's something that I've enjoyed, and I think the listeners have enjoyed, of just, sometimes it's all about being in the right place at the right time.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of it, man. And then, like in my case, and of course everybody's a little bit different how they get into it, but I mean, I just wanted to be around it and learn as much as I could. I mean, I never did anything for money or anything like that. I was just almost like an intern. Heck, I paid to get in 99% of the time, just so I could be up there and be around people that, were involved with it. So they knew that I would be interested. And at the same time, I'm learning things. So, man, if it's something that, for anybody that's thinking about wanting to get into like announcing or flagging or, whatever race directing, whatever you want, my advice to you would be to, show that you care about it, invest into it, show that you want to actually be a part of it. It just, you got to be around it to get better at it. And that would be my advice to anybody wanting to do it, is just show your passion for it.
So I am going to ask you a question. Technically, the first series announcer that we've had on this show, when you look back at the weekly side, what you do at Paducah on a weekly basis, to what you do when you hit the road and you go to, you go to one of these Southern Dirt Street Stock events, what's the big difference? What's something to you that stands out that you do different from a weekly show to what you do on the road with this touring series?
Honestly, there's several things. And I love both sides of it. Don't get me wrong. But so being at home is so much more relaxed. You feel kind of like you can just like exhale and take a breath, and you don't have to worry about, oh, well, I mispronounced this word. I hope nobody, noticed that or whatever. And because you're not, at home, we don't stream. And on the series, of course, Crate Racing USA does all of our events, which is super awesome, but also takes some getting used to. And then, on the local side, you don't have to talk all the time. because, realistically, the races are going on. A lot of times you can't be heard just around the track. But if you're on stream and in between races and while the races are going on and all that stuff, you have to make sure that you're talking all the time because, you don't want the listener or the viewer sitting at home being like, oh man, I could just mute this. It wouldn't be any different to me. You got to keep them entertained. That's your job. You're selling the product. So there's a certain expectation of stress that I have as far as I got to make sure I get these sponsors in here. I got to make sure because, without the sponsors, it doesn't work. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to them and give them all the credit that they deserve. You want to make sure you highlight specific drivers and, make sure you mention their sponsors. There's so many things that go into it. The professional side of it that is stressful to a degree, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's just the difference in hey, I'm cutting up with my friends versus, hey, we're going out, we get it for the in-laws. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And that's like when we were at Needmore, I have a friend of mine that announces, and he's over in North Carolina, and he made the comment. He said, I saw the picture that you all posted in the booth. So there's a tablet here, there's a laptop here, there's a TV monitor here, and then there's this big media board in the middle. And he was like, is that a typical thing for going on the road doing a tour? And I was like, well, for me, yes, because most of that stuff I take with me when I go somewhere. But I'm like you, whenever you can go home and you got the stick mic and that's all you have to worry about, there is a chance for you to be, down to earth race fan, so to speak.
Oh, for sure, man. I love, all the high tech stuff and being feeling like I'm actually plugged into the race. But man, whenever I get to go to Paducah and just chill out really and just have a good man, there's just, it kind of brings you back to why you wanted to do this to begin with, because you realize just how fun it is to just cut loose and not have to worry about, oh God, I hope my internet doesn't crash or anything like that. Oh man.
Or at some of these places trying to find the internet. That's been
oh my God. You're not kidding, man. It can be stressful, man. It can be stressful because, the way I see it, if this broadcast isn't up to snuff, I take that, that's my fault. It is my job to make sure that this is a good show. I can't race the cars or anything like that, but if you have a good announcer and say that you have, we'll just say a less than desirable race. If you have a great announcer, they can make that race seem like, man, that was a pretty good show. And vice versa. If you have a great race and you can't tell that it was a great race, the announcer probably didn't do their job. And that's the duality of this. And I take it very personally and very seriously, sometimes too much so probably.
Yeah. And that's something too, and I've tried to, it's crazy for me to say younger announcers since I'm closing in on 40 with each day, I feel like, but that's something that I've tried to tell some folks that are maybe younger in this business. That's like if we go some places, the term rubbered up. I absolutely hate that. I hate to talk about that. I don't even, a lot of times when we're covering a race, I won't even entertain that, because if it's obvious for you to see that it's happening, you don't need me to tell you that it's going on. And that's something I've tried to, a few other individuals that I've tried to help and kind of talk to. I'm like, hey, if it's something obvious like that, let it go. Just find something else on the racetrack that's entertaining. Find something else you can talk about. And I think as an announcer, our job is to find as much positivity on the racetrack as we can, because I think we all know this. There is enough negativity without anybody else adding to it.
Oh, for sure. Actually, you mentioned that. One of the best pieces of advice I got, Randy Ward, who is announcer for the ASCS sprint cars. And I just like to be around people that I know are better than me at what they do. I'd like to be very humble about that. I mean, the way I see it, if you ever think that you're the best at doing something, you probably need to either step back and humble yourself a little bit or find something else to do, because there's always something to learn. But I was like, man, I struggle with, if we've got like one guy's up like 8 seconds on the field, like how do I sell that? Because I was younger. This is a year or two ago. He's like, well, I'll tell you what, man, that's something a lot of people deal with. And what you do is you don't focus so much on the race. You start to compliment the domination that's happening and how it's, well, how is he doing this, and start describing all these things that are going on. And you kind of draw attention away from the, there's not very much side-by-side racing, but you're drawing attention to something else. And that really helps, what's the word I'm looking for? Change the perspective of the event. And you walk away with a different point of view because, you're thinking, man, naturally as people, we want to think negatively. So like, oh man, there's not a 3-wide battle for the lead all 60 laps. Dang, but now you have this other thought that says, man, this guy really has dialed in on this setup. He must have done X, Y, or Z. And I've got somebody telling me about this and I hadn't thought about that. So now I'm viewing this race a little bit differently. And it's all about knowing how to explain and express what's going on and stuff that maybe wouldn't otherwise be paid attention to.
Yeah, I know one of my late great friends, Rick Eshelman, always used to say, a good storyteller is somebody that usually makes the announcer. And I got asked, could I ever bring anything from the high school sports world when I did that? Did I bring any of that with me over to the racing? And the one thing that stands out when I was asked that, I did baseball for a couple of seasons. Whew. Now, you want to talk about filling time doing high school baseball. And one thing is, the computer program that I have built, the stats. That's something that I found myself doing over the last couple of years. When somebody does get out to like a 4 or 5 second advantage, hey, if this guy's got stats that are impressive enough to share, I mean, it's definitely something to get out there to say, this ain't something that's a rarity. This is something this guy's done quite a bit, or he's got a pretty impressive career.
Yeah. And Lord, I kind of feel like we're giving away all the secrets here. People are going to start listening to us announce and they're going to be like, oh, I know what's happening here. Oh, but yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And that program has honestly been a game changer for me. Just being able to look at everything and just simply type in a couple of numbers and boom, you have the whole season's worth of information just plugged in at your fingertips, which is incredible. It's another one of those things that is a huge difference between your weekly stuff and your professional stuff. So it's a whole new ball game.
Indeed. Well, man, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. We've been catching up all throughout the season, and I don't know that our paths are going to cross again in 2026, but I'm definitely glad to call you a friend and excited to see what the road has for you going forward.
I appreciate it, man. And I hadn't even had a conversation with you until leading up to this season, and you reached out to me. And, open that door of communication, and man, just kind of really quickly became not only one of my better friends, but a trusted mentor, really, because you've taught me so much and I've learned already so much from you. So you've been as big a part of anything good that I've done this year as anybody else has. So I really do appreciate it.
It means a lot, man. And I appreciate it. And I've always said, and I'll say this, we have a unique skill set. And a lot of people will kind of say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I've always felt like being an announcer, you have some kind of unique skill set. Obviously, the number one thing is everybody says you talk good, or you always find something to say, but being able to be narrative with it and be informal is so important in this business. And man, I've enjoyed it. I appreciate you sharing some time with us, and we'll cross our fingers and hopefully Paducah gets to have the Summer Nationals this weekend.
Brother, I'm hoping so. So we'll just keep that R word away, and we'll try to have the green flags in the air.
Indeed. Well, Matt, we appreciate you being on Crate Racing USA Live, my friend.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.
Coming up, we'll talk about the touring this weekend, All-Tech Raceway. It is the Harvey Jones Memorial. We'll talk about that, recap racing from Xtreme on the way next. You're listening to Crate Racing USA Live.
Crate Racing USA Live. We'll return after this commercial break.
Need speed? Need parts? Need results? Head to Knowles Race Parts and Bodies in Rome, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for everything racing. From a full line of race parts, shock and setup services, to VP Racing fuels and lubricants, Hoosier Racing tires, and Chevrolet Performance Circle Track engines, Knowles has what it takes to get you to victory lane. Plus, with many parts in stock, you won't be waiting when it matters most. Have questions? They've got answers and the experience to back it up. Remember, Knowles knows race parts and bodies. Call 678-414-4655 or email cdkknowles66@hotmail.com today.
When it comes to race day safety, don't take chances. The Fire Suit Lady has you covered. Velocita by Melissa Markowitz is your go-to source for top quality safety gear, including SFI certified suits, gloves, shoes, and head and neck restraints, plus the latest 2025 Snell rated ZAMP helmets. Whether you're gearing up for the first time or upgrading your equipment, Melissa will make sure you get the right fit and the right protection. Trust experience. Trust safety. Velocita by Melissa Markowitz. Don't take chances.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Scorpion Race Cars, home of the Scorpion chassis in Phoenix City, Alabama, is your home for anything racing. From complete cars to any level of fabrication or repairs you need. We're a dealer for all the top brands of racing parts, fuel, and more. Need a complete setup? Give us a call today for your appointment. 334-448-0604. Scorpion Race Cars has over 50 years experience in the business. Find us on Facebook at Scorpion Race Cars or call us today. 334-448-0604.
The baddest street stocks on the planet return to Why Not in 2026. Don't miss the Southern Street Stock Nationals, featuring the Crate Racing USA Street Stocks in a must-see weekend. Over 200 plus entries 1 year ago, and entertainment all weekend long, including live music. It's the Southern Street Stock Nationals at Why Not Motorsports Park, August 12th through the 15th. It's a must-see weekend. Be there.
Race fans have a home on Speed Sport 1. Feel the roar of IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series. Experience the power of American muscle with the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Speed Sport 1 has a wide variety of motorsports competition that will satisfy your inner racer, from IMCA dirt track action to Ferrari Challenge North America. Speed Sport 1 is 24/7. Go to speedsport1.com for details and viewing options.
White flag is in the air. Braden Mitchell with one more trip around the speedway to make it happen. 2,500 to win on the line. Coming up on lap traffic, Dustin Harris on his bumper. Joey Tucker, Griffin Jones, Caleb Ashby, your top 5, and your winner, 2,500, going home with Braden Mitchell from Russellville, Alabama.
The voice of Dustin Mitchell at Xtreme Speedway, helping guide Braden Mitchell to the victory Saturday night as the Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour rolled into Danville, Alabama. Welcome back to Crate Racing USA Live. It's time now where we turn our attention to the touring side of things, and that's exactly what they did Saturday night at Xtreme. 31 competitors signed in for the 2,500 to win 30-lap main event. It was a night that would see unfortunate circumstances for the top 2 in the feature. It was Brandon Brown, who pretty much had a perfect night going, end up getting into some trouble with a lap car, and Bryson Mitchell got collected as well. That was the top 2 in the feature, and, well, that opened the door for Braden Mitchell. And it's a door that he's opened before. It was the second time in his career he's won a Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour event, and it's the second time he's been able to get it done at Xtreme. That puts him now now in a 4-way tie for the top spot of the all-time wins list. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we have him on the show. But boy, oh boy, did the points get interesting leaving Xtreme. We got ourselves a dandy of a points battle on the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour. Dustin Harris, the Flintville, Tennessee driver, goes to the top of the standings ahead of fellow Tennessee driver Caleb Ashby. Only 2 points separate the top two, with Griffin Jones now third. Then it's Joey Tucker and Brody Thompson rounding out the top five. Brennan Shirley, Devin Watley, Brandon Lunsford, Stephen Bryant, and now Knox Lamberth has made his way into the top 10. And there is still a lot to be decided when it comes to the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour side of things. A lot of good racing coming up. As a matter of fact, it's really going to get interesting July 3rd and 4th when the series heads to Pine Ridge Speedway in Baldwin, Mississippi. It'll be the third annual Rumble at the Ridge. It'll be a 2-show weekend, so 2 complete shows. Friday night, it'll be $1,000 to win. Saturday night, it'll be $2,500 to win. So, yes, it's going to be exciting to see what happens coming out of that weekend. Back-to-back racing nights. That's the first time this season there'll be 2 complete shows back-to-back, and we'll see how that shakes up things. Then they'll make the return to the MAG to make up the 602 World Championships. That'll be August the 6th through the 8th. It'll be a practice day on the 6th, prelims on the 7th, and then main event features going on August the 8th. And then another 2-day weekend. It'll be the Penn Raceway, August the 21st, and then Sonoma Raceway on August the 22nd. So 2 separate racetracks, but back-to-back nights. So really, if you look at it, 5 features coming up really in the next month and a half. And boy, oh boy, how could things look different by the time those are all wrapped up? Well, the Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Model Series was scheduled to be in action this past weekend. Unfortunately, Mother Nature decided she wanted us to wait another week. We were looking for our 395th career event all time, and Mother Nature unfortunately forced us to not be able to do that thanks to the tropical storm that made its way into the Gulf Coast, and the racing at Wynot Motorsports Park unfortunately had to be canceled. Officials are looking. It's not out of the question. We might not go back there yet. They just need to make sure that we have a really good, suitable makeup. But what that has done is given the teams a chance to do some work, and that's do some work before they head to the big half mile down in Lake City, Florida. It's the return to All-Tech Raceway. It'll be the 8th all-time visit for the series and the first time we've been there since Mark Whitener went to Victory Lane back in 2024 in the Harvey Jones Memorial. And that's what we'll be doing this weekend, the 6th annual or the 6th event in this series held at the All-Tech Raceway. You can go back in the history books, and if you go from 2011 to 2014, you'll see the Harvey Jones Memorial and a star beside of it with the name Mark Whitener. As a matter of fact, he won 4 straight before Kyle Bronson won one in 2015. Those races, however, were contested at North Florida. Now, it will be a chance for the series to return to All-Tech, first of 2 events on the 2026 calendar. We'll be back later in the year, of course, for the big Powell Family Memorial. But I tell you what, coming into the weekend, this is one of those races to where you see some of the guys that have success here could really shake the points up. Of course, Joseph Brown has set atop the standings ever since we left Needmore back at the end of March, but Austin Yarborough has chopped away at that lead. He's got it down to about a 14-point advantage, or 14 points back, I should say. Then you have Diesel Jones. He's 24 points back from Joseph Brown at the top, but he's only 10 points back from Austin Yarborough in that runner-up spot. And then the guy that might have the whole weekend circled altogether, the hometown driver, Bubba Rowling. He made the jump from 5th to 4th after this past weekend that we had up in Kentucky and Tennessee. He will set 24 points back of Diesel Jones in 3rd and 48 points back from the top spot altogether. Griffin Smith was the only one in the top 5 that dropped back. He had some misfortune out at Modoc that really cost him. He will set 5th in the standings, 52 points back. I tell you what, there is still a lot to be decided. Another driver to keep an eye on that's quietly put himself in a pretty good spot would be Joey Armistead. He's 3rd in the Cruise with the Champion Rookie of the Year standings. He's 26 points back now. Griffin Jones for 5th in the standings, and he started to click off a little bit of momentum as we've started to get some racing under our belt. We'll see if he can continue that when we go to All-Tech Raceway coming up Saturday night. That event, of course, it will be a $10,000 to win as we continue what was scheduled to be 6 straight weeks of racing. Mother Nature obviously decided we didn't need to do 6 weeks, raining out our events last weekend. But we'll turn right back around. July 3rd and 4th, we'll be at the Cochran Motor Speedway, the 14th and 15th all-time visit there. It's Christmas in July that weekend. It'll be a $2,000 to win feature on Friday and a $5,000 to win on Saturday. That's 2 separate shows. Then we'll head to Dr. Dirt's Playground, the Magnolia Motor Speedway, the 27th time all-time. The series is rolled into Columbus, Mississippi, July 10th and 11th for the 22nd annual Governor's Cup, paying $10,000 to win. And then a couple of nights back to back. August 21st on Friday, we'll be at the Penton Raceway in Lafayette, Alabama for a $2,500 to win. And then August the 22nd, we'll be at the Sonoa Raceway for the 10th time all-time for a $3,000 to win. Now, drivers like Joey Armistead, they're probably hoping they can stay in the mix until we get to that couple of nights, because that could be very interesting. Joey Armistead's one of the guys that can go to victory lane very easily at Sonoa Raceway, and he will definitely be one to keep an eye on. The rest of the points, well, when you get past the top 10, we're still talking about contenders for the Cruise with the Champion Rookie of the Year race. It's Chase Giddens, currently 7th. Now, he is 2 points back from Joey Armistead, so you can't take him out of the mix either. You got Jonah Bozeman. He currently sets 8th, 62 points out of that 7th spot. Colton Herbert moved up to 9th, and Austin Bloodworth remains in the top 10 as, of course, he was considered one of our Cruise with the Champion Rookie of the Year contenders in the 2026 season. That is how things shape up as we head to Alltech on Saturday night. Unfortunately, this race will not be on Crate Racing USA TV, so keep up to date with everything. I'll keep the social media pages as updated as possible. My Race Pass will be a good way to stay up to date, and we'll keep you posted as much as we can with what's going on down in northern Florida. That wraps up a look at the touring side of things. Our second guest on the show, he is a now 2-time winner on the Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour, Braden Mitchell. He'll join us next. You're listening to Crate Racing USA Live.
Crate Racing USA Live will return after this commercial break.
As far as I can remember, my dad was always buying VP fuel. And then once I got to a certain level of racing where I was good enough, I was sponsored by VP, and I believe VP, my whole entire career, is what I ran with at Mitch's at Pro Circuit, and then also Factory Kawasaki. So very reliable fuel, it makes good power, and you can relatively get it anywhere. So that's the beauty of VP, is always supporting our sport and making sure that we all have fuel to go racing.
Looking for the ultimate racing getaway? Then pack your bags and join us for the 28th annual Cruise with the Champions, January 17th through the 23rd, 2027. Set sail on the beautiful Carnival Vista for a 6-day Eastern Caribbean adventure featuring stops at Amber Cove, Half Moon Key, and Celebration Key. This is your chance to relax, connect, and hang out with your racing family away from the track. But listen up, cabins are limited, and if you want to be close to your crew, you need to get that deposit in now. Got a Carnival code? Be sure to let us know, and always compare pricing to get the best deal. Interior, ocean view, and balcony rooms are available, but they won't last long. Got questions? Call or text 678-414-6970 today. Cruise with the Champions, where racing meets paradise.
Need reliable equipment to power your next project? WestPro JCB has you covered. From durable mini excavators to cutting-edge teleskids, we offer solutions that deliver performance and precision. Visit WestProJCB.com today and upgrade your fleet with machines you can trust.
Whether you're a race team, track, series, or business, Mattman Designs has you covered. We offer high-quality logo mats, solid mats, rubber logo scraper mats, outdoor scraper mats, Versalite mats, and even custom graphic design services to bring your brand to life. At Mattman Designs, we take pride in top-notch customer service and durable, eye-catching products built to perform. Visit mattmandesigns.com or find us on Facebook today for pricing tailored to your specific needs. Mattman Designs, where your brand stands out from the ground up.
It's time to level up your collection at Columbus Sports Cards. We're talking sports cards, Pokemon cards, and must-have sports memorabilia. Buy, sell, or trade it all in one place. Pulling heat, chasing legends, and stacking your best collection starts here. 5880 Veterans Parkway in Columbus, Georgia. 706-507-9277. Catch the action live on Whatnot and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and eBay. Open Monday through Friday 10 till 7 and Saturdays 10 to 3. Columbus Sports Cards.
The biggest street stock event in the country is back. August 12th through the 15th, the Southern Street Stock Nationals returns to the House of Hook, Wideout Motorsports Park in Meridian, Mississippi. It's a must-see weekend, and it will bring the best Crate Racing USA street stock drivers in the country to the House of Hook. Mark your calendars, August 12th through the 15th at Why Not Motorsports Park. Welcome back to Crate Racing USA Live as we have our second guest on the line tonight. He is the newest winner in the 2026 Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour, but he is a repeat winner of the all-time wins list. And we are welcoming Braden Mitchell. Braden, welcome into the show.
Hey, buddy. How are y'all? Appreciate y'all having me.
Glad to have you. Well, now that there has been 2 Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour events at Xtreme, and you've won them both, I guess you can stamp that as your house now, right?
I guess. We've been lucky enough to get 2 in a row. I never dreamed it would happen back to back like that. I got to be honest. My brother and you got Brandon Brown, like they're really hard competitors, and somehow we pulled it off 2 years in a row.
I was going to say, take us back to Saturday night. Obviously started third in that feature behind Brandon and behind your brother Bryson. Take us through kind of the events for the folks that wasn't there. What kind of happened between up front, and what kind of led to you making that pass for the lead there on lap 10?
Well, so we fired off there. We took second or third. We was running third out on the first lap, and we ended up, getting around Dustin Harris to get in second. We was racing, and I seen we had caught lap traffic there, and I was watching Brandon, and Brandon, he slid across the center a little hard there and bumped a lap car. Well, I didn't think nothing of it. Well, during the whole deal, my brother, who was running third at the time, he got hit by a lap car, and it called the caution. Well, I roll around through there, and I see that Brandon's got a flat. Well, that ended his night. We inherited the lead. And then after that, man, we never really looked back. Like we was really good. We stayed free. It took rubber. It just, everything played in our favor. We'd get to lap traffic, then we'd have a caution. A lot of this deal is, things fall in your favor, and I must say a lot of things fell in our favor. I hate it for Brandon. We race each other nearly every weekend, and it was going to be a good race, I believe. But, everything played out how it played out.
Well, and a much-needed win for you. Hadn't been on the track a whole lot in 2026.
No. We've been building a new race shop and getting everything moved to it, and we've had some family things. And, it ain't nothing easy and nothing cheap nowadays, so we've been doing a lot ourselves. And I just hadn't been able to race with the machine shop. We stay pretty wide open with it. And, we're going to start making some more. We're finally getting settled in on our new place. So, maybe we can be more consistent as far as racing goes, throughout the rest of the year.
And we talk about this division, the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman. I know it was the tour in town, but man, the competition level and I would say probably a 50-mile radius around where you are right now. It's tough week in and week out.
It is. And, it's just to win one of the weekly shows around here, it's no easy task. You never know who's going to show up. And, you've got, 5-6 cars there that at any given week is going to be fast. And, for us to be able to run with them and, outrun them from time to time, like you've got to be on point anytime you unload at these deals.
We're talking with Braden Mitchell, the most recent winner with the Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour on Saturday night at Xtreme. Well, Braden, for the folks that don't know you, tell us the story. We know the Mitchell name. We know you guys, the whole family is engulfed when it comes to racing, and you guys play a huge part in racing today, especially in the Southeast. Kind of tell us your story. Where does your racing story begin, and what brings us to where you are now, picking up that checkered flag on Saturday night?
So I raced go-karts for about a year when I was 5 and 6. That was kind of our deal there. And my family didn't feel real safe with the flat cart deal. So I quit. I went with my dad. He raced dirt late models and helped him there. And about 10, I was at football practice. I was playing the Little League football. And my dad's like, "Hey, you want to leave practice early today?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we left and we go to the house. My first mini stock is sitting there. That was my last practice of football also. But a mini stock sitting there, we race it a little bit, and then we bought another car and we ran it and won a lot of feature races for about 2 years. So I was 12 at the time. We're looking at late models to buy, possibly moving up, and I messaged Jay Sparks. I'm like, "Hey, I see you got some cars for sale. I'm interested in buying them." Well, he messaged me back and said, "Yeah, I'm looking at selling them, but I got a question. Would you be interested in driving a stock car for me?" And I'm like, "Let me ask my daddy." I'm young. I couldn't just make that decision on my own. So, I'll never forget it. I was we had a computer room in our house, and I was sitting at the computer, and I about flipped out of the chair. Like, I didn't know what to say. I was excited. So I ran in there and asked Dad, and he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll get the specifics worked out." And I drove a car for Jay Sparks, first one I ever drove for him. It was a Camaro, stock clip Camaro car. It was 1,000 to win street stock race, or factory stock. And we go out there, we run, I don't know, I was burning the tires off. It was a big motor, first time ever in it, so I was using all the fuel. We finished like 10th or 11th. The following week, you gonna try a late model? And like, this is all happening so fast. I'm like, "Yeah." So we go test it. We was like 3/10 off what won the feature the week before. So, in my mind, I'm gonna run good in this thing right out of the box. We hot lap, wasn't real great. Went out there to qualify, and I stuffed it in the fence. I'm like, "Well, this is fun while it lasts. I don't wreck the man's car. Like, it's over." Anyways, we come back in, and we ended up getting another car. He was good enough to me. Got another race car. We went crate racing 2 or 3 more weeks. And then it was, "Hey, you want to run a late model at the Bad Boy?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I ain't never just started running crate, and now we're moving straight up to super. So we go to Batesville, Arkansas for the Bad Boy. And I remember I was sitting there watching them hot lap, and it had rained right before hot laps. I see Chris Wall blow a tire, and it blew the whole deck out of his car. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I done got myself, I'm gonna get hurt out here. Like, I don't know what to do." Anyways, we qualified, didn't tear nothing up. We didn't make the show. It was a great experience. And then we come home. I run a little bit more super stuff and start crate racing. That's when crate racing was kind of getting rolling. We ran crate with him I'm still running crate for him, We ran that crate deal for a long time, hitting super stuff on and off. And, he stuck in there with me for what now is 16 years we've been together. And that brings us to where we are now, just, racing the bigger races when we can. I traveled with y'all 2 years ago, I guess it was. Great experience, learned a lot. And here we are today. Racin, he got him a late model and started rolling, and now it's me and him.
And I was looking, obviously, 2013 Batesville race, I believe, might have been the round in there.
Yeah, it'd been right around in there. The same year we went to Speed Weeks also in Tampa.
I know you said you didn't make the show, but for folks listening, Steve Francis was in that race, Billy Moyer, Scott Bloomquist, Earl Pearson Jr., the list goes on and on. Wendell Wallace was all in that race. So a stout competition way back then to be able to try and make that show. But pretty cool experience, right? I think a lot of people, when we have had folks on here, I think the common theme is, yes, racing costs a lot of money. It's expensive. But man, the experience of doing some of these things is something that obviously you'll remember forever.
Oh yes, and I like at East Bay. I ran 8th or 10th down there in one of the day shows, and I just remember Scott Bloom was coming past me. Like, that's my highlight of my whole week there. I remember him passing me, and I'm like, I'm racing with this guy. Like, you know, there's a lot of experiences in this that, you know, you'll remember forever. Like you say, the truck races I done, like, them were something I just can't explain. Like, it was a great experience, a whole new crowd of people, totally different way of doing things. And the experiences for me mean the most.
Of course, we're talking with Braden Mitchell, the most recent winner this season on the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour. I go back, and obviously I'm looking through some of the Crate Racing USA stats. 2019, runner-up in the national points that year. 24 events, 8 wins, 20 top 5s, 23 top 10s in those 24 features. I want to say it was about an 8-point difference between you and Shannon Lee. For the folks that are out there, the weekly side, what's kind of tell the folks how it is to be worrying about those national points, to try to go week in and week out and try to win one of these things. What's some of the words of advice you'd give some of these folks?
Be consistent. No DNFs if you can keep from it. A DNF, you know, of course, is horrible. But I will tell you, just because you've got the lead in that deal, you better make sure or count everybody else's races that's won a lot. Because I got snuck up on with somebody that hadn't had his full races yet, but he had won a bunch of races, you know. I would say by far consistency for that weekly deal, it means more than anything. Like, if you ain't consistently finishing races, like, you won't do good in that deal. Like, it's just, you've got to be consistent.
Of course, we had a chance to have you and your brother on the road back in 2024. That season come to a short end, so to speak, simply because Mother Nature interrupted it. That was a good way of putting how you ended up leaving in the 2024 season, which kind of brings me to start of this adventure. You all are totally engulfed in this racing world now. You and your wife, Morgan. Tell the folks out there what you all have got going on when it comes to just the racing world alone.
So, of course, I own Twisted Performance and Machine. My wife, anybody that's ever spoke with us in business knows that she handles that 100%. She does an awesome job. My brother, he works at the machine shop with her. So, you know, this crate motor, he works on crate motors every single day. You've got my mom and dad, they run Xtreme. Always got something going in the motorsports world. Racin, he runs a little deal on the side where he works on race cars. Like, at any given day, there's something to do with race cars around here. It's, you know, everybody, my family, all of them work at the racetrack on Saturday night. And if we travel, 90% of them go with us. Like, it's a huge, for my family, it is a family thing. Everything about it has to do with family. Like, you know, when I traveled with y'all, it was the hardest thing for me is my family not being able to go every week. Like, I wasn't used to that. Usually everybody, you know, goes with us, and they couldn't on some of them. They went to as many as they could, but they couldn't on some of them. And it was a whole new deal for me. Like, family is everything for our team. It's they on the shop during the week. Our family's working on race cars with us. If it's my mom getting the rig cleaned or my wife getting tires ready, you know, fire suits have to be cleaned. For people that know the sport and have raced, like, it's an extreme amount of work, and you've got to have a small army to put these whole deals together.
So you talk about the business, of course, off the track, and what was kind of the what was the conversation when it was brought up that you guys were going to be going into the racetrack business as a family? What was kind of the mindset? What was the discussion when you guys finally maybe you learned about the racetrack becoming part of the equation?
My dad, I remember the conversation well, but we was sitting at dinner one night, and North Alabama Speedway hadn't been raced in some years, and that's where we cut our teeth. Like, that's where I started. My brother started. And he's like, you know, I would like to do just a couple races a year here. Well, it didn't equal all that. He had a full season right out of the bat, you know. And it just, anybody that knows my daddy knows he will do a Thursday night teaser race. It don't matter. He'll just put on a race. And it's he kind of went wide open with that whole deal. And my mom was right there with him, and she said, well, we got to start worrying about, you know, concession stands, you know, worried about getting the food. And Dad's like, we'll just order pizza. It'll be fine. We'll feed everybody. You know, like he was worried about going racing and everybody can eat after a while. And it's, I mean, getting a racetrack, getting the dirt ready is one thing, but the behind the scenes, you know, all your food, there's a lot of work that goes unseen or untalked about. Like any racetrack you go to, your cooks, your servers, like that's a lot of work on everybody. Nobody ever talks about that, but anybody that's been around a racetrack and had anything to do with promoting, like that's a lot of work. And my mom does that week in, week out. She takes care of that. And it just, from the grocery orders to every piece of it, like it's a lot that goes along with running the racetrack that I've seen, you know, firsthand.
And it is pretty cool. And I know you made the comment, it's all about the experience and stuff, but you know, you all have really, you know, and I was talking to somebody the other day about Xtreme Speedway, man, you guys have done some really good things there. I know when we were there a couple of years ago for actually last season for the 604 touring event, those 2 nights, I left there and I still to this day, 2025, those 2 nights of racing. I know the first night, a lot of drivers wanted that first night to be a points night. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But both of those nights, man, those conditions, elbows up, short track racing, in my opinion, are the best when it comes to dirt track racing. That is dirt track racing to me, these small bull rings.
Oh, yes. And that I remember that event very well. Like there was some really good racing went on. The final night, you know, especially like it was top and bottom. Like it was a really, really good show. I thought it went very well. And the racing was phenomenal. And, you know, the bigger tracks, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like you. That short track racing, you know, get on the brake, get in the corner, wide open off. Like, it's very fun to watch for a spectator for sure. And I enjoy driving myself.
Well, man, you picked up your second career tour win on Saturday night. I'm going to give you some numbers here. So you now are tied at the top of the all-times wins list with a guy by the name of Mark Whitener. He has 2. Your brother has 2, and Mario Gresham has 2. So other than Mark, you guys best friends all the way at the top, other than Mark, who is kind of the outsider in that group. That's got to be pretty special to you.
It is. It is. I didn't know the stats there. That's a pretty cool deal. It's, you know, last year it was me, Bryson, and Mario, you know, first, second, and third in that deal. And I just thought that was neat as could be. Like, you know, anytime your best friends can run good, it makes you happy.
And it's pretty cool that that you guys have that camaraderie. I feel like when we go to the racetrack, I know when you all were on the road with us in 2024, I don't think there was anything but smiling going on the whole time between the 3 teams when we were all somewhere. And that's something I know when you go to the racetrack, you're going to have tough nights. Parts are going to break, stuff's going to happen. But that's an important part, especially when you're on the road.
It is. And, you know, for me, I'm thankful for being there. You know, like there's a lot of people that wish they could be racing them deals, and we're out here doing it. And don't get me wrong, just like you said, you have parts failures. It happens. You get upset. But at the end of the night, if you'll just sit back and look, like you got to come race this deal. You know, you was able to get here, you know, get in the gate and race. Like that's something for me. It's something to be thankful for. At least, you know, I got to go do this, and I'll hit back on it again. Yes, there is bad nights. Yes, 100% you're going to leave mad at times. But when you look at the big picture, like you've got a lot to be thankful for being able to go run them deals in general. So, and we get to do it, us 3 get to do it together, and it's, you know, it's a lot. A lot of people don't get to do that, and I can't say how thankful I am that I'm in a situation where I can go do that.
We're talking with Braden Mitchell. Well, you kind of hinted a little bit, the truck series events, of course, Eldora and Knoxville. You got a couple of Lucas Oil starts as well. And you mentioned East Bay, and I get sad thinking about that place no longer being here. If there was something else that you could do, if there's something else that's maybe in the crawl, so to speak, that you'd like to give a shot at, is there something else out there in the dirt late model world that you would like to try?
Yeah, I would really like to do the Hell Tour one time. That's all. I mean, that's been a kind of a deal me and my dad's talked about for 5-6 years now. Just taking 1 year and just saying, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run the Hell Tour. It will test you out, I'm sure. But I would really like to do that. Like if I could go do one thing in the future, I would want to go run the full Hell Tour.
Well, I don't think you would have a hard time convincing Mario to probably go with you. You might be able to get Bryson to go too.
I call Mario. He'd already have the truck running. He's got a hair trigger. He's ready at any given time.
Well, we know you got the win on Saturday night. I know you mentioned you guys are planning on doing a little more racing in 2026. What's some of the things on the agenda? What's some of the stuff we might see at down the road?
So I know that me and Bryson were going to try to hit all the bigger 602 races we can, like Magnolia, for instance. I know for a fact that's in the schedule. And then we're going to try to hit some more of the weekly stuff. We just don't know which ones it'll be yet. And the 10,000 to win at Duck River, we're going to try to do that if they do it again this year. But me and Bryson are actually in the process right now of finishing up our limited cars, and we're going to do some limited racing. It's kind of growing in this area, so we're going to do some of that. And that's what we've got planned so far. Plans change. I'm the world's worst to change a plan last minute. But right now, that's what's been talked about.
Well, if folks want to keep up with you and obviously your brother and all the racing stuff, is there somewhere they can do that?
Yeah, you can look Braden Mitchell Racing, Bryson Mitchell Racing on Facebook. We try to post on there as much as possible. We don't post on there as much as we should. My wife, she's been taking care of that now, so it's been more post made. But you can keep up with us there. Like I said, we try to post everything, and we're going to post the rest of the year schedule sooner than later. That way people can kind of keep up what we're doing. And if they want to come watch or tune in, if that's available, they can definitely do that.
Well, buddy, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. It was good to see you get back in victory lane on Saturday night, and hopefully there's a few more of those left in 2026.
I hope you're right. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you down the road somewhere, I'm sure.
All right, Braden, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Coming up, we'll wrap up the show, get you ready for Week 18 in the National Points, and get you ready for All-Tech Saturday night for the Harvey Jones Memorial. You're listening to Crate Racing USA Live.
Crate Racing USA Live will return after this commercial break.
Feel the thunder. Experience the heart-pounding action of Crate Racing USA from dirt tracks across the South. Catch every lap, every pass.
3 wide, just momentarily for the
every victory with Crate Racing USA TV.
The modified main event on this Friday night.
Watch live events or dive into on-demand replays anytime. Whether it's a single night shootout or a full weekend of racing, you're in control. Never miss a moment. Watch from anywhere. Visit CrateRacingUSA.tv now for upcoming events and full race replays. Crate Racing USA TV, America's leader in racing.
When performance matters, champions choose Hoosier Racing Tires. As the largest race tire manufacturer in the world, Hoosier produces over 1,000 different types of race tires, engineered for speed, precision, and winning results. With cutting-edge technology like a 300-mile-per-hour test wheel, a state-of-the-art production facility, and advanced mixing plant, Hoosier continues to lead the way in racing innovation worldwide. Hoosier Racing Tires. We fuel passion, pride, and success with our tires designed for champions. Order today at HoosierTire.com or call 574-784-3152. Hoosier Racing Tires. Tires designed for champions.
Racers are dedicated to winning. And Chevrolet Performance's 3 factory-sealed circle track crate engines can help you get to the checkered flag first. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a touring hero, on dirt or pavement, Chevrolet Performance Circle Track crate engines are engineered to win. Right out of the box.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
Can't make it to the track? Crate Racing USA TV has you covered. From live events to on-demand replays, Crate Racing USA TV is your go-to for everything Crate Racing USA. Watch from anywhere at any time. Simply visit CrateRacingUSA.tv and never miss a lap. Welcome back to Crate Racing USA Live as we get ready to close up episode number 14. Well, we take a look at what's coming up this weekend. Week 18 of competition starting on Friday night. The Cochran Motor Speedway, of course, will be there coming up July 4th weekend. They'll host the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series coming up on Friday night. Hattiesburg Speedway will see the weekly racing program pick back up. Pike County Speedway in Columbus, Mississippi, Kai Kelly, he'll have the I-55 Street Stock Shootout, of course, featuring the Southern Dirt Street Stock Series. Of course, we had Matt on the show earlier to talk about that. Paducah International Raceway welcomes the Dirt Car Summer Nationals, the Hell Tour on Friday night as well. Flip the script over to Saturday, June the 27th. Cedar Ridge Speedway in Morgantown, Kentucky will have a big Crown Vic special on Saturday night, $749 to win. The Deep South Speedway in Loxley, Alabama will make up last week's weekly racing program this Saturday night. The East Alabama Motor Speedway down in Phoenix City, Alabama will have the USCS United Sprint Cars in town at the Playground of Power. The Magnolia Motor Speedway in Columbus, Mississippi will have a weekly racing program. North Alabama Speedway in Tuscumbia will have fireworks and a glow show with some weekly racing competition this Saturday night. And Pike County, of course, will close up their I-55 Street Stock Shootout on Saturday. Southern Raceway will have a big celebration, the 4th of July celebration in Milton, Florida, Saturday night. And finally, fingers crossed, Swainsboro Raceway going to get some racing in. It seems like forever since JJ and the team's been able to get on the racing surface. They'll have a weekly racing program on Saturday night. And Western Kentucky Speedway in Madisonville, Kentucky will have, of course, the Crate Racing USA Street Stocks on hand Saturday night as well. There is some Sunday racing. The Windy Hollow Speedway in Owensboro, Kentucky will have another night of Dirt Car Summer Nationals action as the Hell Tour will leave, of course, Paducah on Friday, and they'll adventure their way over to Windy Hollow on Saturday. So that's the racing that's coming up this weekend at the Crate Racing USA sanctioned tracks across the Southeast. 30-plus tracks now and a couple of extra tracks. Of course, you can find out more. Go to CrateRacingUSA.com and you can click on events and you can see all that and keep up to date with everything. Of course, the national points, Shannon Lee now a 20-point advantage over Christopher Reed in the Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Models. In the Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman, Covey Parsons still holds the advantage over Alan Edwards. That's a dandy of a battle, too. Only 15 points separate them, but the top 5 are only separated by 30 points. Joey Tucker's back 22, Spencer Moore 29, and Brody Thompson only back 30 points. On the Crate Racing USA Modified Sportsman, it's still Mingo high atop the standings, 50 points ahead of Shane Griffith, and they've got a pretty good cushion back to third place. Kelly Davis, it's 123 points back to third. Calvin Martin and Malachi McGee, they just keep going back and forth. Martin holds about a 10-point advantage going into this weekend's competition over the young rookie, and Carlos Williamson, another rookie, he sets third, 67 points back. That's how things set right now in the National Tour. Over in the Young Guns Championship, Gunnar Duke, he still sets atop with Brody Thompson just 6 points points back. That's the top two in the VP Racing Fuels Young Gun Challenge points, which you can also find. Go to CrateRacingUSA.com, and you can also go to the My Race Pass app and type in Crate Racing USA. Well, this weekend, the All-Tech Raceway welcomes the Rogers Dabbs Performance Parts Crate Racing USA Dirt Late Model Series to town for the 6th annual Harvey Jones Memorial. Once again, that race will not be on Crate Racing USA Live, unfortunately, this weekend, but keep close to the My Race Pass, keep close to our social media page, and we'll try to keep you up to date Saturday night as the series gets ready for round 7 of the 2026 season. I got to say goodbye. I got to say a big thank you to our guest tonight, Matt Benton. We appreciate him giving us a little bit of his time as he gets ready for the Hell Tour up at Paducah. And, of course, Braden Mitchell picking up his second career Crate Racing USA Late Model Sportsman Tour win this past Saturday night at Xtreme. We thank both of them, and most importantly, we thank you for joining us as you do each week. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and better yet, hit the share button and tell a friend. We hope to see you at a racetrack this weekend. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to joining you next week right here on Crate Racing USA Live.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Crate Racing USA. Crate Racing USA would like to thank our fans for their support, and we hope you enjoyed this broadcast.